Alright, everybody, so we should be getting buffs any time now. Usually, I mean, I guess it doesn't happen every single anniversary, but normally we would probably get them about a month after the main EX comes out. That would be my guess, so a little ways away. Of course, Sabo did just come out, a week and a half ago, whatever it was. So we still got a little bit of time till we'll probably see new buffs, And we have no clue how many characters will actually buff, It's all over the place. I think the first buffs, we got like 6 or 7 of them. Then the second buffs, we got 8, I believe. Then we got like sub 5 something maybe. And then the last 2 buffs, we got 3 and 4 buffs, in a different. So it's very all over the place. No really predicting how many characters will buff. I think this one will be a decently sized buff, though. I think we'll get quite a bit of characters. So we'll start in order, go from left to right, of course. So, first character I have, of course, is Akainu. Akainu, I think, would be the perfect character to buff if you want to counter all these greens. Of course, red counters green, so plus his magma, magma stronger than fire, would be a perfect counter for Sabo. Of course, Sabo isn't overly broken in my opinion, but he is still pretty strong. Kuzan too, he could easily counter Kuzan. I mean, I could see them giving him his skill 1, ignore obstacles, go through Sabo's fire, go through Kuzan's shield. That would be extremely broken alone. Just giving his skill 1, dog, red dog, whatever it's called, ignore obstacles. And then, of course, Akainu, maybe they'll up his 3 invincible hits when he uses skill 2, make that 5 or something. Of course, a lot of characters can remove it before it even does, but a few characters can't, so yeah, like I said, Akainu probably the perfect character to buff right now. Like I said, because all of these green characters that are out. Next I have, of course, is Oden. Oden getting disrespect after disrespect. I mean, so Oden came out, and then Roger came out, and then after Roger came out, it was Akainu, Yamato, and then Kaido. So 3 characters after Oden, EX characters after Oden already got buffed, and they just left Oden in back, even though he's the one who needed the buff probably the most. I mean, I'd say at the time, Kaido needed the buff the most. I mean, he was just outdated, unfortunately. So, other than that, though, yeah, Oden needed the buff the most. Of course, we do have Sabo, a great green runner, so I mean, another great green runner, but it's not unheard of, to have 2 of the same characters pretty much dominate whatever. Oden will be extremely broken, I guarantee that. I mean, he's still usable to this day in, League Battle, which is crazy, even though he came out 3.5 years ago or something like that. Probably. I believe he came out during the 2.5. No, he came out during the 2nd anniversary. So that is, 4 years ago. Because, Roger and him were the 2nd anniversary characters, which is crazy. So, him getting a buff would make sense. I mean, if they skipped him again, that'd be crazy to me. They better not skip him for the 15th time. But yeah, Oden, give him ignore character while on the treasure so he can grab the flag while on the treasure. I mean, if they really wanted to, they could give him the 1 HP trait like Yamato, even though a lot of characters counter the 1 HP trait. So, I mean, I don't think it would be very useful in this meta, but eventually it could be useful again. Of course, they could give him so he can't be inflicted by status effects. Of course, to counter Kuzan. Of course, if Kuzan can just freeze him, he's gonna be completely useless. So, give him that, so he can't be inflicted by him. Just knocks him down or something like that. Give him a little extra damage, stuff like that. But Oden, overall, probably a great buff to come. Next I have is Ulti. I think Ulti would be a perfect counter for Garp. Of course, Ulti not only has multi-hit, which is Garp's enemy, of course, also she does more damage against attackers, so she is the perfect counter, in my opinion, to Garp. Multi-hit plus extra attack against attackers. Not like Garp doesn't have counters already. People like, I mean, I guess really only Jabra and Kuzan can counter him. I'm not sure about Sabo. I think he counters Sabo more than Sabo counts him, but only those two characters with multi-hit can truly counter Garp. I think Akainu would be a pretty good counter to Garp also. Now that I think of it, you know, his Magma, plus he has his skill 2 is multi-hit, so he can remove shield pretty easily. But yeah, Ulti, she being blue, of course, she will have type advantage against Garp. It will be slight type advantage, but still type advantage. Multi-hit, like I said, she also has the status infliction, time down, whatever, so it's like 80% or something cut down, so she already has that. They could change that to straight up just not being able to affect her, just knocks her down, stuff like that. And she would be a perfect counter to, like I said, Garp. She could probably hurt Kuzan a bit. Of course, she is blue, so she will have type disadvantage against Sabo and Kuzan, but I think she'll still be able to handle just fine with a buff. Now, normally I would probably put page 1 instead, but it seems they don't really buff two characters from the same batch at once. For example, when Jack got buffed, they didn't add Queen in there, even though Queen came with him. It would have been perfect if they buffed Queen and King together, but they decided to only buff one, so I think if Ulti gets a buff, unfortunately, I don't think page 1. I would love a page 1 buff. He is one of my most favorite characters of all time that I ever played. I mean, he was just so fun when he came out. But yeah, unfortunately, only one or the other I think will get buffed in this batch. Probably Ulti, like I said, because she will counter Garp somewhat. So, yeah, probably Ulti will buff, if anyone. Of course, none of these characters are confirmed. They're just characters I think would work really well in this meta with a buff, so we'll see. Next character I have is Vista. Probably the best step up of all time overall. Of course, his step up's better than him now, but overall, when he came out, he was a monster. Insane counter, insane cooldown, insane skills, everything, just insane. I mean, with a buff, he could be 10 times crazier. I mean, even now in League Battle, we still see these V-Stars running around, and they have like infinite counters because they get it back so fast. So, Vista getting a monster buff would be insane, of course. I mean, even though, like I said, he gets his counter back almost instantly the second it runs out, whatever, they could make that time go down so he gets it even faster than that. So we'll see what they do with his buff if he comes. Alternatively, I think if they don't do Vista, because I mean honestly I don't think Vista needs a buff bad or anything, but if they don't do Vista, I would love Magellan to get a buff. He is of course an extremely old character, so him getting a buff makes a lot of sense. And yeah, I would love a Magellan buff. Also, Eneru would be another great buff, I think. Eneru defender form, if they buffed him. Magellan and him both great defenders that they could buff 100%. Next we have Tesoro. Again, so many runners in League Battle. He was made to counter runners. Of course, if a person's grabbing the flag and he attacks them, they'll turn to gold. Of course, it doesn't work on everyone. Unfortunately, you know, people have status effect, negate, whatever. So it won't work on them, but his extra damage against runners would be very useful. They could give his skill 1. They could do it, ignore obstacles, so he could hit Sabo while he's grabbing the flag. That would be huge. Of course, when Sabo has his flame up, of course, you won't be able to hit him. But yeah, they won't be expecting it to come through the flame and hit him. So yeah, give him just ignore obstacles on that attack would be insane. Also, perfect way to bring him back. Of course, the movie characters are pretty rare. They're not, you know, they're not in the normal pool. They're not just some random character you can pull by summoning for the new EX if you get lucky. These characters are special and they're only on movie banners when they come out. You can buy them with scout points, but of course that takes a while. But yeah, Tesoro has not been back for a while. It had to have been... When was the last time he came out? It had to have been a long time ago. I swear it was when V2 Uta came out or something. The Blue Defender Uta was probably around the last time he came out. Oh no, it's probably around actually when Bullet got his buff, whenever that was. I don't remember when that was, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the last time he came out, when Bullet got his buff. So perfect time to bring back some of these movie characters, let people who don't own them get them, stuff like that. And yeah, Tesoro overall was a solid character. Him with a buff would be insane. Next character I have, the GOAT of all rats, Soba Mask. I mean, he is an amazing character. Even in this day and age, you could still get away using him. He is, honestly, in my opinion, he's a better Queen V2. You know, Queen V2 unfortunately can't choose when he turns into a invisible. You know, give Soba Mask the ability to grab the flag while enemy is on it. He is instantly going to be probably a top 5 character, along with his shield he already has. Yeah, Soba Mask is going to be insane. Make him extremely tanky. He has his shield. Give him ignore enemy while on the treasure so you can grab it when under their noses when you're invisible. And yeah, he will be an amazing. I swear he's going to be better than 99.9% of the game. He's going to be an absolute monster rat that will just annoy everyone. Next character I have is Brulee. So Brulee came out with Cracker. Unfortunately, on release, she was automatically not good. She was probably one of the worst Bounty Fest on release. I think this is the first Bounty Fest I maxed day one they came out. So, you know, Brulee, she is she had the most unique ability at the time, being able to put down a mirror and teleport, plus being able to send enemies back to their main or their spawn. Insane combo. Give her a buff, give her more defense, and she'll be perfectly fine. Should be a perfect counter for Sabo. I think, you know, Sabo charges at you with his attack. You activate your mirror teleport skill, boom, he's back at spawn automatically. And yeah, it's just gonna be very funny. She's basically, yeah, she has the same ability as Opbr to send them back to spawn. Plus, like I said, she can put a mirror down anywhere she wants and teleport with her skill 1, I believe it is. But yeah, Brulee, she again was not the best on release, but she was a fun character to play. I remember playing her. It was the Kaido hybrid Kaido meta, you know, teleporting into the back treasures. You just teleported back there with Kaido, kill them, whatever. Or you just were on your treasure and Kaido was bold enough to teleport right on top of you. You just activate your mirror skill, boom, he's back at spawn. He wasted his skill, he wasted his teleport, and he's back where he started. Amazing combo to Kaido. So her with a buff would be very fun. Final character I put on here is Rayleigh. Honestly, they could buff V1 or V2 Rayleigh. Really, both of them are old enough to get buffed. I believe Prime Rayleigh came out even before Jack and Queen, so 100% in range of a buff. I put older Rayleigh because he's older, but like I said, Prime Rayleigh 100% is in range for a buff too, if they decide to put him instead. But both of them very good. Green Rayleigh was a monster back in the day. I'm talking about before, was it before? Yeah, I think it was before Shanks and Blackbeard came out, or it was right around the time Shanks and Blackbeard came out. I forgot when, but he dominated the game. He was so annoying with his teleport, or yeah, his perfect dodge, teleporting, stun, whatever. Insane damage to even this day. I mean, I can be doing sometimes 30k damage with just his skill 2 and skill 1, which is insane. So Rayleigh would be very good. Same with Prime Rayleigh. Really good runner. If you know how to perfect dodge, he is a monster, of course. No one will be able to stop you. Plus, there's a lot of skills today that you can perfect dodge easily. I'm talking about like Kuzan putting his ice on the treasure. You could just dodge into that and boom, you teleport right on Kuzan, knock him down. Sabo's flame, you can just charge right into it. Boom, teleport on him, knock him down, easy. So yeah, there's a lot of skills that are easily perfect dodgeable. Blue Kaido's attack, I say, is pretty easy to dodge. His flames on the treasure, you just need to have good timing, stuff like that. But either Rayleigh would be very good for a buff, and I think they will be in range. But those are the characters I think will buff. Of course, you could swap a few out. Like I said, We have no clue how many characters they're gonna buff. They could just be boring and buff 3 characters like they did with Roger. They buffed Roger, Jinbei, I think, and I don't even know who else. And then of course with Kaido and Yamato's buff, that was only 4 characters. They buffed, was it Marco, Jack, Yamato, and Kaido, I think? Unless if Marco came with Roger, I don't know. But, yeah, they've been buffing a little amount of characters each time. And that's probably because there was not much time between Roger's buff and, Kaido and Yamato's buff. That was about a 3-month range in between them that they got a buff, which of course is really good. Usually we don't get buffs. We get buffs usually about every 6 months normally. Usually they buff a character uh, before the main EX or after the main EX, and then during the 0.5 anniversary, pretty much after the main EX, they decide to buff a character. So yeah, we should get buffs any day now, any week now probably. Probably it won't come until after the next Bounty Fest banner, which I think will be Morley and Lindbergh, the raccoon guy from, yeah, I don't know what he is, from the Revolutionary Army. So we will see their buffs, of course. I think Akainu is a must to buff. I mean, he counters so many characters in this league. I think he would easily counter all 3 main EXs. But, if Akainu buffed and Oden buffed with him, I think Akainu would kind of counter Oden. So maybe they do give him the 1 HP trait just to counter Akainu or somehow survive Akainu. Ulti, like I said, a very good buff to counter Garp. Multi-hit plus extra damage against attacker. Vista or Magellan or Enel as a buff. Like I said, Vista, he definitely is in range for a buff, but like I said, he is still usable. So, not 100% needed buff. But Magellan and Enel easily, yeah, they need a buff bad. Tesoro, extra damage against runners, another runner counter. Of course, this game is ran by runners pretty much all the time. It's very few we get a character strong enough to counter the new strong runner at the time. Of course, running wins you games. Soba Mask, again, perfect runner, very ratty, shield plus invisibility. Brulee, sending people to spawn plus being able to teleport, pretty insane. And then Rayleigh with his OP perfect dodge. Not sure how many characters will get buffed of these guys, but, I think all of these characters would be perfect counters slash, just great characters overall to buff in this season.